What is up, Surgeaholic Sooner Nation? It is Wednesday night. Thanks for joining us here on a wonderful Wednesday as the softball team run rules UTA. You got March Madness starting tomorrow, and I'll say this a few times, but Surgeaholics, join our March Madness group, okay? We will drop and put the link here in the comments tonight, and you can also see that if you're on the YouTube channel at the community page. I've dropped the link, but the password is Surge, and you can join the Surgeaholics March Madness Mania. Like to see you on there. More brackets, the merrier. How about that, Hunter?
Yep, get your brackets in by, I think first game is what, 11 a.m. Central Time?
Always 11 a.m. That's right.
Right now you got one of the first four going on. Colorado up 26-24 at the half over Boise State. So,
yeah,
not as bad.
Jay will be joining us. Jay will be joining us here in a little bit. Had an errand to run. Thanks for being on here with us. Yeah, I think the big news of the day, Hunter, DeMarco Murray gets paid, gets an extension, and will be a Sooner coach as we expected. This was, I'm not sure you can just say it was leveraging for money, but obviously that's probably the main thing.
A lot of it, the move, to me, the fact that it was even a leverage move, if that's what it appears to have turned out as, doesn't make any sense to me. To leave your alma mater for a same position, again, another blue blood, and then the situation in Columbus, going back to Chip Kelly, where that did not work out well in Philly only about 9 years ago when that whole situation went down between the two of them. So it doesn't make any sense to me. 3-year extension for him, probably with a pay bump. That hasn't been announced yet, but you would have to assume that
for sure
he's finally getting paid.
Yeah, Ron Brown says Moser mad about March Madness, and Ron Brown's about to drop in the comment that Moser wants out of Norman. Jen Kane says Boomer from Texas. Boomer, Jen, great win by the softball team today. Moser just needs to keep his mouth shut and recruit better players. Look, I don't have to speak on the Moser thing. You know my thoughts, guys. I don't need to go off on a tangent again about Porter Moser. Everyone knows my thoughts. Dowpost 83 says Murray deserved it. He's OU alumni legend, has done a great job. If you look at really what he's done, I would, Hunter, I'm going to grade him.
You cannot criticize him other than last year. But even
Hunter,
then,
let me say what I'm going to grade him.
All right.
I would give him an overall B.
I think that's fair. I'd go maybe B+.
I would give him an A in recruiting.
Yeah, he's done really
well. I would give him a C+ maybe in personnel to a B-, something like that, and it would round out as a B. And last year, again, we're not privy to enough information, though, Hunter, to say, was this all on DeMarco Murray last year with personnel decisions?
Yeah.
We are not privy of that information. We assume that maybe he had a say in it, but I think he's done a great job, really. And the only way he would ever leave Norman is if he wants to be an OC, and maybe he's going to be an OC here eventually.
Yeah, and I don't even think you could really fault him too much for last year, because at the end of the season, they got it under control. They weren't really
the main guy. I mean,
they weren't really losing games other than the Kansas game, if you kind of want to say that, because of the personnel decisions. At the time, they were 7-0 going into that Kansas game with the personnel decisions really being all over the place at running back. And then once Sawchuk took over, I mean, he had like a 63-yard touchdown run against Oklahoma State in a loss down the end of the year. But I think development-wise, he's done very well. Look at what he did with Ramondre Stevenson, what he did with Kennedy Brooks. I mean, Kennedy Brooks would have came back for a fourth year. He'd be the all-time leading rusher at Oklahoma. Eric Gray was really, really good under DeMarco Murray, and I could see the improvements from when he first arrived in Norman, like in that spring game, to throughout the first season, throughout his second season at OU with Eric Gray, and then with Sawchuk. I mean, I think it's a star in the making there.
Yeah, and really, DeMarco Murray, everything you've heard from staff, from players, very, very high expectations for the players. And I think he fits what BV wants, which is high expectations, hold guys accountable. I really think he's one that fits that perfectly. So, Yeah, it's a good day when DeMarco Murray stays. So that's good. Chief T-Bird, welcome again as usual. Appreciate you being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Hope our running backs take a big leap this year, but the O-line will dictate that. I trust DeMarco to play the best healthy guys. And there's a lot of them. The running back room, while it may not be for sure who it's going to be, it is pretty loaded. And I know a lot of people are going to think that I'm sunshine pumping that. I think it's very deep. You're not even mentioning guys like Samuel Franklin, but and some other guys. I think it could be a really good room.
Well, Javante Barnes played a lot as a true freshman, and he's a guy in that running back room that I feel starting to get singled out. If you look at Sawchuk, he's going to be the starter. Caleb Hicks, I think it's really hard to keep him off of the field. Then Samuel Franklin, the transfer, as well. Like, he is going to play quite a bit. Where does Javante Barnes fit in there? He's had the injury issues. And 405 boy, Eric Gray is on the Giants.
Giants.
Could be seeing an elevated role with no Saquon Barkley in New York.
Yeah, could be. Listen, let me get to two things. Does Patty have power hitters? You have Malloy. You have Cheney Hilton is not
24 class.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's what Ron Brown's thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, but 25 class they have I think 5 of the top 10.
Yeah, they're loaded. Ron Brown. They're loaded. Who's the player I feel most confident transferring after the spring, Hunter? A guy maybe like Hester or something, but I don't like naming names. Crystal. You say, when did you guys start going live? Been here since early October. We've been live every night, every single night since Thanksgiving, close to Thanksgiving, November.
I think we started in November.
Crystal, set your clock every night at 9:30. We are on here. We don't miss a night. We did miss Christmas, I think, and New Year's. That's it. We're on every single night, Crystal.
There was a couple other nights, but it's been pretty much. It's a high
hot oil. Kerosene,
attendance for the nightly live. So
oh yeah, we're on every night. Sometimes I'm in a Walmart parking lot, but I'm here for the Surgeaholics. And Crystal,
got a shadow behind you tonight, Jerm?
Do what?
Got a shadow behind you tonight?
Do I?
Yeah.
It's probably my son who's in here getting stuff ready. We were live on Christmas Eve, and that is hardcore. Yep. Okay, we're here. We're here to talk Sooner sports. Eric says that Barnes is going to fit right in the transfer portal. It all depends on his health, Eric. If he's ready to go, we'll see. I'm not counting him out yet. He would have left by now.
I agree with you on that. I do think it is a very uphill battle for Javante Barnes to get back on the field at Oklahoma with Sawchuk really taking over. I mean, going off of the momentum of the last 4 or 5 games last season. Caleb Hicks, year 2 for him now. Then you bring in Samuel Franklin. Taylor Tatum will be there in June. He's number 1 running back in the country. Yeah, I agree with you, Eric. Barnes has been disappointing, but
time out, Hunter and Eric.
I was getting to the nagging foot injury. I mean, it's hard for him to.
He was actually very impressive when he was healthy.
When he was healthy, yes. His freshman year, he was great. Last year, injuries throughout the entirety of the season.
I'm curious, Hunter and Eric, do you guys think that Barnes, after the Cheez-It Bowl, you were very disappointed in him?
Again, freshman year, he was great before any of the injuries.
So when he's healthy, he's been really, really good.
When he is healthy, he's been really, really good. Last year, he was not healthy pretty much the entirety of the season.
I don't think he ever was, yeah. Hogs think they have flipped the Parker girl from Pensacola. I highly doubt that, but we'll see.
Alyssa Parker would be hard to flip.
Yes.
Like Oklahoma.
Anyone from OU is going to be hard to flip, Hunter.
Arkansas softball, I don't even see them in the polls usually. Maybe if she was going to play basketball there, then maybe.
That would be the only way, but OU might allow her to.
It's hard to do.
It is hard.
Basketball, softball,
it is
because
hard.
Softball, especially with how much earlier they start compared to baseball, they start a few weeks earlier with all the fall stuff going on. That would be very hard work.
Instead of the chat, you can drop into the chat, but listen, you need to if you've already filled out a bracket on ESPN Tournament Challenge, join our group. It's the Surgeaholics. Okay. look for we're going to put the link. You just click the link and you type in password surge. Hunter may have already put it in the chat.
It's in description. I don't know if it worked for you guys in chat, but it is in description.
It's in the description. Join our group tonight. Don't miss it. We're going to have bragging rights and a prize for the winner, so you don't want to miss it. Listen, Hunter, I think it's going to be hard for anyone to flip any softball player from OU. Here's another reason why. Not because of the best team ever. It's also because Patty Gasso's playing freshman this year. So it's not like you got to say, well, I got to sit out to it. Nope, not at OU. Patty Gasso plays who she needs to play.
All three of the healthy freshmen played tonight. They played
elite running backs. Hey, Chad says he's ready for OU to have elite running backs. So when was the last year they didn't have an elite one? I'm just curious, Chad and Eric. Kennedy Brooks was elite. Would you guys say?
I can't think of one that, like a year, you would be going back a long time, I think, before 2014. I think, is that fair, Joe? Maybe I don't know if you count Eric Gray as elite, but he was really good. I mean, he was consistent.
I think the definition is what would be elite. Like, what's your definition of elite? Eric and Chad. Eric and Chad, before I can answer your question, because I will in a second, you know me. I ain't going to shy away from any question on here. And I'm going to get to crystals in a second. I don't shy away from questions. I want you to say, tell me what a definition of elite. What would it have to be elite? Now, it says Mixon. Yardage-wise, Salchuk probably has as many Mixon. Now, wow factor, of course, Mixon had it.
No, Salchuk doesn't have close to the yardage.
Mixon and P. Ryan split yardage, though.
Yeah, but Mixon, I mean, you also have to count him.
Mixon was great out of the backfield. Look, Joe Mixon is one of about 3 or 4 guys in the. I mean, Joe Mixon was an Adrian Peterson type, and I actually think Salchuk can be some P. Ryan. So,
yeah, Rodney Anderson, best it never was. The injuries just.
I love Rodney Anderson, Eric,
and the fact of the injuries that he did have, that he was still able to come back from. Had the neck.
I love Rodney Anderson,
and then finally the knee injuries just kept piling up for him in the NFL.
I also will say that how they used the running backs is different last year with Levy. So it's hard. It's hard to compare. I think Salchuk's better than people think, though.
Salchuk is fast, man. Remember looking at his track times out of high school?
He's not as physical. I agree with Eric that I would love a Rodney Anderson type, and I think Caleb Hicks, there's some guys there I think can show some of that. I got to get to crystals here. Any constructive criticism for Joe Castiglione, I feel like he always gets a free pass. I will say this. First off, Joe Castiglione, arguably maybe the best athletic director in the country, okay? I'll say that first. Now, when you say free pass, there are some things I think Castiglione keeping how do I want to say this? Because this could get tricky, but the Porter Moser hire seemed like a home run hire. It hasn't panned out. Sherry Cole, the ending of her career, you could look at possibly.
But see, with that, I mean, hiring Jenny Bronchek, she has.
Oh, it was a great hire with Jenny Bronchek, yeah.
Right back where they should have been. I mean, maybe loyalty sometimes.
Loyalty could be, yeah.
But I mean, really, I feel like you're having to pick straws if you're trying to find criticism for Joe C, because especially on the women's side, Patty Gasso, best softball coach in the country, KJ Kindler, best women's gymnastics coach in the country, Jenny Bronchek won the Big 12 back-to-back years in her first years at Oklahoma. So
even then, Hunter, it's really even not about the hires. It's the transition to the SEC. He's been at the forefront of everything, so he's elite. He is the definition of elite. I do like what Eric says about a change of pace. Now, it depends on who the other guy is, though, honestly. I think
Eric,
they have
who do you want the 2 backs to be next year?
Here's what I say, Hunter. I want to see Caleb Hicks get a chance.
I agree.
I would like to see a healthy Javonte Barnes all out once, just to see what he looks like.
I'm looking forward to seeing Samuel Franklin in the spring game.
Yeah,
because a transfer.
Salchuk is fast.
Clear how it will.
There's people saying Salchuk doesn't. You cannot look fast and be the fastest guy there. Listen, I coach track. Guys, I coach track.
He is fast though.
I coach track, and if you see my fastest athlete run by themselves, they don't look very fast. You put them side by side someone else, they look fast, and it's the same with Sawchuk. When he got in the open space,
Salchuk's
he
two
was
biggest
running by
runs,
people.
his two biggest runs this year against Oklahoma State and then against Arizona. Both of them, it looked like he was like gliding, not really even going that fast. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, they're not catching him. Like they're not going to catch him.
What was his average, Hunter? The last 6 games, he averaged well over 100 yards each game.
Yeah, he was getting over 100 yards a game. He had a 63-yarder against Oklahoma State. I think a 60-yarder before he was finally brought down against Arizona.
And it's a great comparison by Chief T-Bird because Kennedy Brooks didn't look fast either. Now here's the deal. The physicality with the speed OU hasn't had since probably a Joe Mixon. And Samaje Perine didn't have the speed. He had the physicality. Joe Mixon was a perfect combo of speed and physicality. He was an Adrian Peterson-esque guy.
That was one of the best running back duos, I think, of all time. Without you had the pure power guy in Samaje Perine, and then just the elusiveness of Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
1-2 punch, thunder and lightning. Like it was fun to watch.
And I agree with Eric here. Man, I'm agreeing with you a lot tonight, Eric. Listen, they didn't feed Sawchuk enough. I do think Seth Luttrell, Bill Beatenbow, DeMarco Murray working together, I think they're going to try to go in there and be pretty physical in the running game. That's what Seth Luttrell's MO is. Now, obviously, he's an aired-out guy, but I'm saying they run a lot of counter stuff. They run a lot of pulling guards.
If the line can more pulling this year.
If the line can be physical enough, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. I don't think so, Kyla. Now, he might surprise. I don't think he's on the field the first year.
I want to say the same thing, but you're also looking at a 5-star running back, number 1 running back in the country. I think he might surprise some people, but again, him staying in high school to play baseball, I saw he had like an inside the Parker the other day. Just unbelievable. Yes. The speed running the bases at Longview. With how loaded the running back room is right now at Oklahoma, I think it's very hard for him to see the field. Not in the winter, spring.
Who's right now? Sawchuk's a starter. Who do you think's the backup? I think it's Caleb Higgs.
Yeah, my 1 through 4 right now is Sawchuk, Hicks, Franklin, Barnes.
That's my order too. Hunter. And then it may be Xavier Robinson in a role. Now again, I'm looking forward to this more than anything, Hunter, in the spring game, or at least throughout the spring. Is I want to see what kind of 2-back sets they're going to go with. Is it going to be 2 running backs? Is it going to be a fullback? There's a lot of options. They've talked a lot about the tight ends and how they're going to use them from the backfield. So there's just a lot of things we don't know yet.
Yeah, Xavier Robinson, I know a lot of people on here saying they expect him to play a lot. I kind of feel like the opposite, but his role is so different. Like no one knows right now what his role is going to be. He's not going to be your traditional running back. He's going to be more of that H-back and kind of sprinkled in at times. So be interesting to see what they do with him. I still think, even though his size says he's SEC ready right now, I think he has 1 more year before he's a full guy.
Yeah. And listen, 405 boy. And I saw Jen drop Gavin Sawchuk's 40 time. I'm telling you, again, I'm not saying it just because I coach track. Some people look very, very fast, and they're not as fast as they look. Some people don't look as fast, and they're lightning fast. And Sawchuk's one of those. I'm telling you, he is fast. Now, there is a difference in track speed and football speed when pads come on. Some people aren't as fast on the football field that they are on the track, or vice versa. But Sawchuk is plenty fast enough. Okay. And Hollywood Brown, again, he looked fast and he was fast, but he's also flying down the field on fly routes. It's a little different.
And he's also about 150 pounds.
Matt, the starting tight end, I'm telling you right now who the starting tight end is going to be. It's Bauer Sharp. If you had to tell me right now, nail it down right now, who the starting tight end is, Bauer Sharp. I think that's who the starter is right now.
What if they went 2 tight ends?
If they went 2 tight ends, I would say Bauer Sharp,
Jake Roberts,
probably. But it depends. If we're going 2 tight end and one's in the slot as a receiver, you could go Bauer Sharp and Devon Mitchell. So it depends on what the 2 tight ends, hands in the ground. That's the question. If
How-
it's hands in the
Hunter-
ground, it's Barrett Sharp and Jake Roberts probably. Although
Hunter.
I did hear on Oklahoma Breakdown, a lot of people, Gabe Eichert was talking a lot about Hampton Fay. I'm not buying the Hampton Fay stuff yet. I got to see it to believe it. Sorry.
Yeah, what's up, Ron? I think Monty said hey to. Hey, question though is how much run do you think Devon Mitchell will get year one?
What do you think, Hunter?
It's hard to say. I mean, he's supposed to be a junior in high school right now. So, but with how talented he is, how massive he is, he looks, if you see him in person, he looks like been in college for a few years now. And he's only supposed to be a junior in high school. So it's so hard to say right now. I want to see how he looks in the spring game, how much, which again, you're going to get a little bit more run there. You also have the 4 games to start the season and the non-conference stretch that is pretty favorable for Oklahoma. So maybe he gets into those, but you're throwing supposed to be a high school junior or would be a high school senior in the fall into the SEC and expecting them to play. That's a lot to ask, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Fanstop says it seems like the last run game had no rhythm. I would agree with that in the sense that they never really, got something going and just stuck with it and just pounded teams. Now, I think you're going to see something different. Chief T-Bird talks about what's Luttrell's main formation. Well, he's an air raid guy. He does move formations a lot, but the main formation is single back, guys. I'm just going to tell you what his main formation is. I've watched a lot of film. It's single back. He does have way more 2-back sets, 2 tight end sets, multiple tight ends than we saw with Jeff Levy. But the main one is still a single back with a lot of pulling guards, okay? That's what he likes to run as far as in the running game. I do want to say that Eric mentioned Kanik. He's seen some people saying slipping down the depth chart. The only place he would slip is to backup. He's not going to slip any further than that, I promise you.
Well, I think maybe what Eric's saying, I mean, let's think about it. Stutzman, McKenzie, Lewis, Kanik. What about Lewis Carter?
Well, you got Lewis Carter and Samuel Shmigo, but I think they're farther down than Kanik for sure, Jay.
I mean, I think it was Gabe. I think it was Teddy Lehman talking about he's really high on Kobe McKenzie right now.
Yes, and Kip Lewis, but also I believe if you on the Oklahoma Breakdown, Jay, I saw a little bit of that, and I saw Teddy Lehman say if you just watch all the linebackers go to the drills, Kanik's the best.
But that doesn't always equate to.
My point is he's not going to slip that far down, Jay.
But let what if he doesn't, and he doesn't get a whole lot of, maybe he's the backup and he doesn't get a whole lot of play. What's next for him? You know what I mean?
I don't know what's next. I think you tackle that, pun intended. You tackle that when it comes. Crystal.
Hunter, wait, real quick. I want
to get to Crystal and then let Hunter answer this EPL question.
Okay.
If you would, Hunter, if you know on that. Listen, Crystal, I agree with you. You can associate a great tight end with the OU great teams, usually. Even back when they ran the wishbone, it was Keith Jackson. You had the Jermaine Gresham. You had Trent Smith. You had Steven Alexander. You had Mark Andrews. You can keep going. And then you had Stogner last year when I think everyone thought it was going to be better. I will go with this, and I'm going to say it, Jay. Here's my ding, 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 DG moment of the night.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Good night, dude. March 20th, and he just can't get it out of
23 minutes in, and Dylan Gabriel's name comes up. He
I
played
don't
for
think
Oregon.
DG looks for the tight end much, okay?
He plays for Oregon, by the way. He doesn't play for Oklahoma anymore, in case you didn't know.
Hunter, talk to us about EPL. Why is he not an early enroller? Because there's a reason.
Yeah, credits. Tampa Catholic. You can't graduate early there. That's one of the schools that makes it very difficult for players to graduate early. He wasn't able to. I believe he's going to be running track there this year. So a guy that big running as fast as he does is just
wow. Doesn't he do the hurdles?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is terrifying. Like imagine
100-meter dash.
120-pound kid looking over, and there's a guy about 6'3", 330 pounds about to run in the same event. Like that,
he doesn't,
and about to beat you.
Right.
Hunter, if he gets out of his lane, he would actually run over people. It'd be scary.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like
Stay in your lane, young man. Stay in your lane. Jay, do you have a trivia tonight?
I do got a trivia, and
Well,
I saw the graphic, and this kind of goes with the graphic, so it's perfect. It's about DeMarco Murray. We talked about DeMarco Murray the last few days and said probably nothing going to come of this. He got a pay raise probably, but this question is about DeMarco Murray. And this is a very tough question. You're probably going to have to Google this one. If somebody knows this very quickly, I'd be shocked. But DeMarco Murray, we all know what number he wore at OU and then what number he wore in the NFL, number 29. But when he went to Tennessee, he had to take that number from somebody. Who was that person that he had to basically buy out the number from?
Wow, that's tough, Jay.
It's tough.
Hey,
Let me give you a hint. It's a local player. That's what's interesting about it.
I'm pretty sure I know this.
Really?
Can you say the college? Because I think I know it.
Yeah, I mean, guess the college.
TU? Was it TU?
No, not TU. I'll give you a hint, though. It's OSU.
Hey.
Boom, Bobby. Bobby got it. Parrish Cox.
Parrish Cox. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Mars
There
Jam.
you go, Bobby.
Mars Jam. Hit the like. And before we get into the other questions, thanks everyone for being on here. Two things. One, check out the FanStop, fanstop.com. Go there, subscribe to the Shirt of the Month Club. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. Shirt of the Month Club, fanstop.com. You won't be disappointed. I promise you. My wife loved the March shirt as well. It was the St. Patty's Day shirt. It's elite. And the April shirt's going to be even better. Get on the Shirt of the Month Club, fanstop.com. Second thing, join the Surgeaholic Tourney Challenge. Do it by tonight. Games start tomorrow. Password is Surge for that. More brackets, the merrier.
Hey, and by the way, I think Jay does have 2 points.
Jay does have 2 points.
I gave him a point one day when you were on it, Hunter. So just FY for tomorrow. I don't know if he Googled that up or not. That'd be impressive.
Hey, Kanik was a quarterback in high school. Yes. Someone asked that earlier.
Yes.
I think
high school in Hayes, Kansas.
Hey,
it is. I think
it's 100%. It's 100% for people to say Kanik's overrated. I think you're outside your ever-loving mind if you call Kanik overrated.
Here's the deal, Jeremy. And this, but listen,
if he's bad this year, I'll let you say it.
Will you listen to me for a second?
Yeah, I'm listening, Jay.
Put your ear closer because
I'm hearing it, Jay.
Because what you've done for the last, can you get any closer?
Jeremy, we're good. We get the concept.
What you've done for the last few days, for the last few weeks on Jackson Arnold, you're going to have people maybe this year saying he's overrated because what you've pumped him up to be.
Okay, now
because wait, listen. Let me say something. Jaren Kinnick was highly recruited.
Different position. Eric, to say he hasn't done anything is a bad take. He actually had, I think, 13 tackles against the University of Texas last year. Go back and watch the game. Okay, he was maybe the second best defensive player in that game. Now, he got bad after that. He regressed a little, but you can't say he was bad against Texas, and you can't say he was bad in the cheetah position when he came in for Deshaun White against Nebraska.
Yeah, and hey, Dalpos, that's
no,
very
no,
true,
that is
but
not.
Also,
okay. What?
No, it's true, but most fans have biases towards certain players. I'm
not having a bias towards Jaren Kanik. I'm saying Kanik has all the tools necessary. I think Kanik is just in the exact same position Stutzman was. And if people thought Stutzman was overrated 2 years ago, oh my goodness, were they wrong?
Who said Stutzman was overrated? This is a fact.
There was a lot of people saying he was out of position, James.
Jeremy, this is a fact right here. Danny Stutzman, his freshman year, played sparingly, not a ton.
Sparingly would be the word.
Okay,
go ahead.
Sparingly, whatever. I think people, fans, whatever, people, and you're one of them, have pushed Kanik in year 1, year 2 to be way better than maybe he needed to be into like. Let's give it some time. He did come from a high school that he didn't play a lot of linebacker. So maybe the hype, maybe the hype and the fact that people are saying he could be over, maybe that's because he was hyped up too much, to be fair.
Eric, I'll say fair. When I said DG, I said you picked the one drive. Okay, listen, I got upset because you said Kanik didn't do anything. Kanik played a lot last year. He did some good things. I'll say this, Kanik was great downhill blitzing the quarterback. He was actually one of the best guys to get at to the quarterback on blitzes. Okay, he blew up the middle when he did. So I think I just got a little upset that Kanik didn't do anything. Was Kanik great? Absolutely not. He may not be the starter.
Gary.
He may not play as much. Okay,
Good
but
point.
I'm not going to sit here and say that Kanik is a Heisman candidate or a Butkus Award. Never saying that. I just think Kanik has all the tools necessary. And Eric, he's been out of position. He's playing a new position this last year. He was cheated the year before.
Dude, you're not winning Heisman as a linebacker, Jeremy. Come on.
I meant Butkus. That's why I transitioned to Butkus. You guys can say Kanik isn't any good, and that's fine. I think we'll see this year.
Jeremy, I don't listen. Nobody's saying Kanik isn't good. They're saying if he doesn't play a lot this year, then that's his third year.
Right. I agree. It's also Kip Lewis's and Kobe McKenzie's third year, too. They were highly recruited as well.
They redshirted.
Right. Kanik could have redshirted his freshman year. He only played like 2 games, didn't he?
No, he was playing special teams.
Special teams, but
that counts. I think they should change the rule.
Well, they're not comparing him to Isaiah Simmons because Isaiah Simmons was a cheetah.
That's what Kanik was compared to. As soon as
I think initially when they
to Clemson, he was compared to Isaiah Simmons. When he committed to OU, compared to Isaiah Simmons. That's why people have such high expectations.
My question is, and this would be if I could get Brent Venables and get a question to ask him about Kanik, my question to kind of pick Brent Venables' brain would be, okay, out of high school, I think a lot of people thought Kanik for Cheetah. They tried it, moved him. What was the reason for moving him out of Cheetah? Is it pass coverage?
Yeah. I don't think they really gave him that much of a shot at Cheetah. But also,
that's what I'm saying. So, but Brent Venables and them had to have known a reason why they're switching him.
Well,
what was it?
I think it was kind of just the Cheetah position as a whole. You had Justin Harrington coming back. You had Deshaun McCullough transferring in, trying to get him in at Cheetah there. You had Peyton Bowen just picking up snaps wherever he could get them, including Cheetah. Kendall Dolby trying to find a place for him. He played a bit of Cheetah, so that'd be a 5th guy at that same position.
The Cheetah's pretty loaded, guys.
Eric says, why does it take guys 3 years to develop an BV system? It's not open heart surgery. These guys have been playing football basically their whole life. But let's at the same point of saying that, there's also guys like Peyton. There's Peyton Bowen. There's guys that play early too. So I like Kip Lewis. I think if Kip Lewis would have played more early on last year, he would have had an outstanding year. I think he kind of came on late because he didn't get a whole lot of snaps. So I think some guys do develop faster than others. I don't think you could say BB, all guys he brings in takes 3 years to develop. I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, Ron, I've seen Marcus James a few times. Massive. Does not look like a high school junior.
And
Crystal's not. I mean, that is.
Hey, listen,
for Oklahoma, isn't it? 20 years.
That's a long time, man. Long time.
And I hope BB's the one to do it, guys.
What percentage of a linebacker do you think is instinct?
There's a lot, Jay. Now
I'm asking. I know.
I would still say about
30?
maybe 50. Listen,
50.
There's a lot that's instinct. One
Right,
thing I
30.
think that's held Kanik back is I don't think he's just playing football. There's still some thinking going on, and that's getting him in trouble some when he needs to just play.
But what would he be thinking about now, third year?
He shouldn't be thinking as much.
I think that's the
issue right now. That's the whole reason.
If he's in the same position, he should have it down pat, Jay. Again, Jay, one thing that happens is I think Harrington is the guy everyone would want to put at Cheetah, right? Because he's the best cover guy there. Actually, Dolby's probably the best cover guy at Cheetah, but Harrington can do both.
Harrington has almost as good, if not just as good coverage skills, and is also about like 5 inches taller. And Kendall Dole being about 30 pounds heavier.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, that's correct. Again, I'm going to say, guys, I would love to see 5 linebackers. I would love to see even someone like Lewis Carter get out there and get a shot, 5 to 7 plays, keep everyone fresh.
I feel like that's what you have to do in the SEC. You can't.
Yeah, but come on, guys. I mean, listen, I get it. I get it,
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Just starters in the SEC, man.
No, I get it. But guys, the people that say that on third down, you're going to pull Stutzman. I mean, come on.
I'm not saying do it on third down, but
well,
you got to pick your spots, Jay.
I know you got to pick your spots, and it needs to probably be. I don't know when you have a lead. I don't know, man. It's tough. You got to get guys in. You got to rotate. It's how you do it. And I think, listen, Zach Alley is a guy that's going to probably help in that situation. Zach Alley likes
for sure
players. I think maybe his way of doing things, maybe he's got and maybe that's something he'll help BV with. Maybe the rotation. Maybe just, hey, this rotation will work this way. I think maybe he'll bring some new ideas on that part of it.
Danny Stutzman is going to be the face of OU in the SEC first. Before Jackson Arnold takes over that role, it will be Stutzman this year, I think. He's the guy you want out in front. I mean, for sure. He's an 100%. SEC dude.
Well, he's a senior with the closest, like, personality and buzz around him to Brian Bosworth that OU's seen in a long time. Like, just plays with that swagger that makes him the face of a program.
Hey, I got to get to Eric here. I've agreed with you a lot tonight, Eric. I'm not going to agree on this.
Really? You have?
Yes, I have, Jay. I don't think we know about the Zach Alley hire, but you would want consistency throughout, especially consistency and alike thinking. So you don't want to put 3 or 4 now. Different.
No, I think Eric's arguing though that he would like to have a different opinion, though, Jeremy.
Not in scheme wise. That's just going to cause issues.
Yeah, that seems like that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Look, depends on his personality. But if BV is a guy who wants to have still some control, you got to hire a guy who knows what your scheme is and runs it and knows what you think. I absolutely love the Zach Alley hire. We don't know if it's great yet or not, though. We'll find out. But by the way, hiring Zach Alley has nothing to do with having high standards, Eric. I don't understand what your comment was on that.
Well, that had to do with the response, basically about he doesn't like anything OU. That's what that was about. He just listen.
I have high standards too, and I think it's a good hire.
And we'll see. I think most people would say, other than Ted Roof, yes, for sure.
Look where he's been, Jay, and the defense they had, and how much improved they were.
My whole thing with Alley is how much will he, if he's given a lot of maybe responsibility and a lot of ownership of it, I love the hire. If it's still going to be Brent Venables and him just, then I don't as much. I think Brent Venables has to relinquish some of it as a head coach. I think you have to. I don't think any coach these days that is in the nuts and bolts of everything on one side of the ball, it's going to be tough for them to manage the whole team. Personally, that's my opinion. It may be dead wrong on that, but name me a coach that's done it. Who?
How involved do you think Kirby Smart is?
A lot, Hunter.
What?
I think Kirby Smart's involved a lot
too. Like, I thought he was pretty hands-on.
What about Lanning?
A lot on the defense, Jay.
No, when he was at Georgia.
I still think Kirby Smart was.
Oh, guys, y'all are kidding yourself. You don't think Lanning was the main part of that?
Hold it, Jay. Lanning was the DC.
I'm not holding nothing.
Jay, you can't compare the two because Lanning was the DC.
I can compare him.
Lanning was the DC by himself.
That's my point. Hunter's saying Kirby had all the control.
I didn't say all.
No, he didn't. Jason, I think Zach Alley will be the DC by himself, or someone else will be in a year or two. But right now, they're co-DCs. Okay, that's what it is.
My point. I mean, my point is Kirby Smart. I think he had input on the defense, but I think he let Dan Lanning kind of run most of it. Did he not?
I don't follow Georgia enough, but I think Lanning ran most of it. Yes, and that's why he's a head coach at Oregon now. Crystal, thanks so much for the super. Appreciate you. We know you're not impatient. You're a logical Sooner fan. It's definitely worth questioning. It's been 20 years. We all want one sooner rather than later. Pun intended there.
Thanks, Crystal.
Listen, and let me say this, Crystal. We are live every single night at 9:30. You asked earlier. Every night, 9:30, rain or shine, or Walmart parking lots or not. Jay, would you rather have Dan Lanning right now? I don't want to bring that up the last 5 minutes, but
dude, why would you bring that up? You knew exactly what
I know what Jason's opinion is.
Of what? As a head coach?
I don't know.
What are you saying?
Hey, someone said Eric likes
Riley. I knew it was.
Eric would rather have Dan Lanning, but guess what, Eric?
Jeremy just threw that out there as a softball. I mean,
hey, guess what, Eric? Dan Lanning couldn't beat Washington twice last year. If he's so good, why can't he win the big one? I guess that's a question.
We'll find out in the playoff. Who makes this is the better question, because I think Oregon's making it this year.
Lanning and BB.
Who makes the playoff first? Are they both going to make it this year?
Who, OU and Oregon?
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I don't want to.
Have y'all talked the 2025 schedule yet?
No, we haven't. I was about to bring that up. I just realized.
What did you think of that? First off,
I am absolutely shocked by that. For one,
it's not a horrible schedule though.
It's a tough.
It's pretty much the same schedule.
It's a tough break for Oklahoma.
It's pretty much the same schedule as 24.
You win your home games, you'll probably go 10-2.
Okay, you look at
depending on the Texas game
that Texas has, and then what Oklahoma has back-to-back years. That's a tough break. I really thought they were gonna kind of.
Why did they flip it around some? Why does OU get the same teams?
Everyone got the same teams. It was just your away games in 24. Our home games in 25.
I don't like that. I'd like to switch it
in Oklahoma. Guess what? Mr. Brightside coming to Norman. Early 2025, Michigan will be at the Palace. So,
yeah, that's.
Guys, I hate to.
Who did Oregon play in their bowl game? Who did Oregon play? Liberty, right?
I hate to break the news to you, but Michigan, I think they're getting ready to be not in the playoff for a while. I think. I'm not sold on. I think people underestimated Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach.
Oh, he cheated.
Huh?
He cheated, but
Hunter, wherever he's been, he's won.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's a good coach.
He won the first big one after cheating. Won the first big
Hunter,
one.
they play defense wherever he's been.
That is true. 49.
What wins championships? Defenses.
He kept winning. So.
Hey, the hub, OU scheduled Michigan so long ago. They scheduled those non-conferences out so far in advance. Like next year, OU's going to Temple. That game was scheduled when Matt Rule was still at Temple.
Yeah,
Temple. I'll be honest with you. I thought they did away with football. I mean,
yeah, I really want to go to that game. I would have
Temple.
Yeah.
What?
Go to a Phillies game when you're up in the area. That'd be cool.
Temple's awful in football. Now maybe John Chaney was there in basketball.
I'm not saying that they're good. I'm just saying
basketball
for the area. I think it would be a good game to go to.
Monty, appreciate you always watching. Again, and reminder: join the Surgeaholic Tourney Challenge.
Who do you got?
The link is in the description. I have Houston winning it all. Hey, our dad. Listen, appreciate the prayers for our dad. He's doing pretty good considering all things that's happened. We're hoping in the near future, in a few weeks, he is back to his house, but we do need a 24/7 caregiver. So, hey, I'll throw that out there. If anyone knows anyone, 24/7 caregiver, we're looking for someone to care. Maybe it's not 24/7. If you know of anyone, send an email to us at ousportsroundup@gmail.com. It's worth a shot. How about that?
Ron, this isn't even a fair question here. I mean, Patty Gasso has.
She already did win. She already won.
Well, but like if you're talking about in the future, I mean, she still has this year.
You can't say not winning one. You can say it as your opinion, yes.
We'll see. I mean, I think the jury's out.
Eric, on a scale of 1 to 10, Eric, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good was the BV hire? I want you to rank it.
Nobody, listen, it's unfair to answer that until next year.
I agree.
I want to know what Eric ranks the hire now.
Jeremy,
After 2
listen,
years,
real quick. Jeremy, listen, real quick. Before you start blowing up on these comments, because I know you're already trying. But Brent Venables, to be fair, was brought in why?
A 7?
Was
that's
brought
higher
in
than
for
I thought.
I'm shocked by that. I think that's a pretty fair grade.
Yeah, that's fair, Eric. That's fair. And he's not an OK State fan, but hey, Eric, I said you can say it as your opinion that he's not going to win one. And if you heard me right, I said you can say that as your opinion. I think Jackson Arnold will be the best in the SEC. What I'm not going to say is Jackson Arnold absolutely will be the best. I said I think he'll be the best, okay? But that's a story for another day.
In that term,
do what?
You were pretty confident with that.
Fanstop has, listen, we're going to end it with this. Fanstop has the best shirts, and this is a great take here. I think everyone would rather be in the SEC with BV. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was trying to say this point maybe like 2 minutes ago, and then you kept reading comments about your Jackson Arnold comment or something. But my point was Brent Venable was hired to go into the SEC with. I understand the first 2 years. The first year, not good. Second year, they were a lot better. They lost games they shouldn't have. That's the problem. They lost to Kansas and LSU. But this is the year, guys. This is the year, SEC, when you find out if Brent Venables is the guy. I think you will know. I really do. I think you will know after this year. And I think most fans will know. Hey, I don't know. You'll know after this year. Promise you.
You'll know.
Because I do. I think when he was hired, I think people pointed to the first year in the SEC as that's when we're going to find out. They've been building towards this. Look at the recruiting classes. You don't get top 5, top 7 recruiting classes and continually throw an 8 and 4 out. Then you got problems. So this is time now. You had a great class back to back, getting some 5 stars. It's time, I think, to see on the field what Brent Venables can do as a coach.
It's time. And it's time here, guys. It's 47 minutes in. Thanks again for joining us. As always, check out the Sooner Surgeaholics Tourney Challenge on ESPN. The link is in the description. And Eric, we'll make sure to apologize to you when it happens. I don't know what I apologize for. I might say I was wrong. I'm not going to apologize because I haven't hurt you in any way. But I will say I'm wrong if OU's not 9-3. I'll admit that I'm wrong. And I'm sure others will as well. Maybe, hopefully, that's what good fans do. But we'll see. We got some of the best here at the Sooner Surge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys all tomorrow night. Boomer.